All right, ladies and gentlemen, I am at my first service call of the day. Just doing a wellness check, some annual maintenance on this Rheem. It's a very tall unit. 5-ton, indicated by that 60 in the model number. This is a manufacturer data of June 2019. We've been here for a couple years. I think we had a TXV issue, or maybe even an evaporator coil issue a few years ago. We ended up replacing that. But yeah, not too shabby. In case you're wondering where the filter dryer is, it's inside the house, where it belongs, right? You know, it's pretty damn clean. Wow. A little bit of just stuff in there, but not too shabby. Let's put down our mat. Take a look at the coil. Coil looks immaculate. Well, except that side. Except that side right there. Ain't that interesting how the side facing the house, or like a structure or a wall, always has dirt on it. Everything's kind of wet and inside is fairly clean, so I just removed the screws that hold on the condenser fan motor shroud assembly and that top cover to the unit. Then I popped out the screw there and screw there, lifted up the top piece, and look what I have. It comes right out like magic. And it really isn't terrible, but we're gonna brush it out with a bristle brush and call it a day here. Not too shabby. Not too shabby. It looked much worse than it was. We're gonna do this a couple times. Get all that dirt out of the coil. Improve efficiency. You know, I find it fascinating that manufacturers haven't upgraded technology, with the exception of ACIQ. One of the reasons why I primarily exclusively install ACIQ systems for my clients for replacements or even new installs, and that's not too frequent, but is that every time the system runs, right, that outdoor unit, you know, that fan is always running in that same orientation, right? The fan is blowing up. So when you have a side discharge unit like a ductless mini split system, the fan's blowing out that way, right? Not into the coil. But what separates ACIQ from everyone else is that at the completion of a demand, whether it's a cooling or heating demand, that condenser fan motor runs in reverse and pushes all the dirt out of the coil. Because when this is running, think about it, air is being brought in through the coil from the outside in and then discharging at the top. When you have a side discharge unit, the fan is sucking in that air from the outside of the coil through it and then out the side. Then it turns off, runs in reverse, pushes all that cocky and debris and dust and dirt, pollen, all that stuff right out of the coil. That's genius. Why doesn't everyone else do that? I have no idea. You know what? I gotta give Rheem credit. As much as it pains me to give them credit, I gotta give them credit for making their outdoor condensing units like this very, very easy to maintain. Several screws come out and these panels just fold right out. You don't have to lay on the ground, right? Try to catch those screws in the bottom. It's so annoying. So annoying. Anyway, I have the disconnect pulled. I did that before I started taking this apart, by the way. I want to check that capacitor. This is a 70/10 370. It doesn't really matter that the 10 part is there because we're only using this to power the compressor. We have an ECM motor there for the condenser fan motor, so there's no capacitor for that. We're going to disconnect the wiring from our dual capacitor. All right, let's get a 1 volt 2 amp 4 volt 2 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 A pair of insulated needle nose to short that out, make sure there's no current there, some voltage, whatever you want to call it. And let's test the capacitance of this capacitor. Okay, nothing there. I got my Fluke 116 true RMS multimeter set to read capacitance. I'm gonna put one lead on one terminal, one on the other, and we get 68.6. This is a 70 plus or minus 5%. So we are good. My rule of thumb, if it's 10% out of value, it's time for it to be replaced. Now we put this in on July 30th, 2025. Still good. I wish it was at 70, but it is what it is. Let's put those wires back on. We had the purple on that Herm side, the orange on our common side, and now we have our single pole 24 volt contactor. Let's carefully take the wires off that, and we're going to check the coil resistance value. Okay, set our voltmeter to read ohms resistance, and let's check the coil resistance on that 24 volt. We got alligator clips on both sides. We're reading 14.3. My rule of thumb, if it's in the teens, that coil is good. So this single pole capacitor, thumbs up. Now, as simple as this is, we have our capacitor, we have our contactor. It's quite simple, right? Any HVAC contractor could make a repair to this system, you know, day or night, right? Is that a given? Right? Can we agree on that? Right? So the reluctance by some to not install high efficiency inverter based equipment, I get it, right? I get it. You know what? Mikey Pipes, if my customer's inverter system, you know, the ACIQ system goes out on a set Friday night or a Sunday morning on Christmas weekend or 4th of July weekend, they're out of comfort. They're out of HVAC. Normally that's why ACIQ offers parts kits so you can make repairs to the equipment that you install. But with their 0.03% failure rate after 12 months of operation, and half of that is caused by an installation defect, are you really going to need those parts? I have a parts kit in my shop for all the extreme pluses that we install. I'll say knock on wood. I've never used any parts from it. So what are you waiting for? ACIQ.com/Mikey Pipes. And no, I am not a paid spokesperson. I just love the brand, and I love it being able to install my own branded equipment in my client's home, strengthening my brand in my community. You could too. ACIQ.com/Mikey. All right, the unit's all buttoned up. All the screws are back in. Disconnect this plug back in. It is 46 degrees out. I am not going to check the charge unless I suspected there was a problem. So we're just going to make sure that everything's operating properly, that it gets the signals for it to turn on, make sure we hear that compressor. But it's too cold to check charge. But I only check charge, you know, even only if I suspect there's a problem. Even if it's 90 degrees outside, I turn the cooling on. I got hot air being discharged at the top of this condensing unit. Chances are the refrigerant is good. Chances are. Remember this, folks. 9 times out of 10, when you have a no air conditioning service call, repair, what have you, it's going to be electrical. It's not refrigerant related. Just keep that in mind. Let's go head inside to the air handler. All right, here's that indoor unit. There is our 7/8 and our 3/8 line. The arrow's in the right direction. This is the Rheem RBHP. It's the not as long profile unit. It also means it's not that very efficient either. Let's remove the blower compartment. Take a peek inside here, make sure everything's normal. All right, so I removed the cover for the electrical and blower compartment. We had a water leak in the past in the history of this machine. That prompted, now I remember, the replacement of the internal evaporator pan that was cracked. That was last year or the year before last. We threw in a float switch to turn off power to the outdoor unit if there's a problem. And so far so good. I want to show you something. I loosened up the filter cover, and let me show you inside. You see that black stuff? It looks like it's grayish. See that stuff right there? Yeah, you know what that is. No bueno. Let's see if I can grab my thing from there. All right, so I just turned the thermostat to 65. I heard the little click of the thermostat, and you heard the outdoor condensing unit run. That noise in the background, that's the compressor. Nice and clear, no bubbles. Beer can cold and somewhat warm. Somewhat. All right, it's definitely warmer than the 45 degrees it is outside right now. And definitely warmer than that suction line. I let the homeowner know about that growth that we see starting to build up on the evaporator coil. I just took a wet rag with some spray nine and just wiped that down. Nothing crazy, but we made note of it. And when we return next year for another maintenance, we'll check on that again and see how it is. You know, if it's come back, you know, we need to put in some kind of air purification system, like maybe like an air night or some kind of other ultraviolet light system where it can kill that stuff before it starts traveling through the air handler and, of course, the supply ductwork. Thanks for watching. Smash that thumbs up button, guys. And if you're an HVAC contractor and you just want to, and you install stuff like this, forget if you just want to. If you install equipment, Rheem equipment, builder's grade equipment, I can give you far superior inverter-driven compressors, fully communicating systems for almost the same exact price as what you're paying for your builder's grade equipment. Go ahead on over to aciq.com/Mikey Pipes for more details. And yes, I am the brand ambassador for ACIQ. I love the products. I have them in my own investment properties. If I didn't have brand new equipment in my home, that'd be my house as well. I trust the equipment enough to put my name on it when I install it in a customer's home, and it's well received. And whisper quiet. That is loud. ACIQ is quiet. All right, service call is complete. I still gotta wrap up that extension cord. And yes, I parked in the driveway because when I called the homeowner saying that I was gonna be a little bit early, would you mind if I started outside because the start time was at 8 a.m. He goes, Mikey Pipes, you want to park in the street? Park in my driveway because they're going to be street sweeping. I was like, sure, no problem. But typically, I'll never park in the driveway unless given explicit permission to do so. And even then, I would want to like, hey, let's hold off on that because you never know, an oil drip that you didn't have or didn't notice, and now you just destroyed their paving stones. Just saying, been there, done that.